I love a good indie game, especially one that allows me to reflect on life, the world, and the human experience. Which is why I'm such a fan of that game company's trio of Flow, Flower, and Journey. Today, let's explore If Flowers Dream of Electric Seeds, the monomyth, and why less is often more in storytelling. So settle in, get comfortable, and
Listen! I'm following your lead, I'm following the feeling. I'm conquering the spirit, I'm busting through the ceiling. Hey, listen!
if you are not aware of that game company's trio of Flow, Flower, and Journey, well, you should be. Seriously, go and check them out. But they are a series of games that reminisce about how life used to be simple, our place within the natural order as we grow, the inevitability that the journey must one day finish, and the dream of something new once our pilgrimage ends. That game company also recognized in life, everyone's experiences are unique, and a single narrative could never hope to encompass these myriads of hopes, dreams, loves, and tragedies. So they made a bold choice not to force dialogue into any of their games, but rather to let the music and the environment convey the themes that the games deliver. Flow centers around the existence of single and multicellular organisms living in the sea. The objective of the game is to reach the lowest level of the sea without being eaten in the process. There are other single and multicellular creatures swimming around you during the game, but it is your choice whether or not to interact with them. If you choose to consume smaller organisms, you will grow larger and stronger, but you will also become a more enticing target for the aggressive and carnivorous creatures at the lower depths. Conversely, you may choose the pacifist lifestyle and simply attempt to swim past the larger organisms to reach your goal, since there's no requirements that you have to meet in order to complete the game. There is no correct way to play, and the game does not give any bonuses for finishing one way compared to the other. It simply starts the process again with you playing as one of the other species, showing that, despite how you start, all creatures have the same goal and destination. Flower is the spiritual successor to Flow, and revolves around the collective dreams of potted flowers. Thematically, the game is centered around the growth of human civilization, man's encroachment on nature, and the existential question of what our place is in the natural world. Through the perspective of flower petals, the player gets to experience both the simple, joyous wonders of nature and the spiritual alienation that we undergo as we continue to sacrifice our world for small comforts and in the name of progress. The game was conceived as interactive art, literal poetry in motion, and if you're anything like me, it certainly evokes a sense of wistfulness while also being extremely comforting and relaxing. While the game can clearly be seen as a warning against the dangers of over-industrialization and urban sprawl, it ends on a hopeful note, positing that it's not too late for us to correct our actions and live in harmony with the world that birthed us. Finally, there's Journey, a not so subtle reference to the hero's journey, also known as the monomyth, and more generally, the journey of life, which in this case starts with a star falling to Earth, representing the genesis of our silent protagonist. As with the hero's journey, the game proper will not start until you, the player, accepts the call to action and goes to collect some pieces of cloth that happen to be hanging out in a desert wasteland. Upon retrieving them, you find out that this cloth has seemingly magical properties and provides you with supernatural abilities, such as flight, to aid in your adventure. The cloth also creates fragmented visions that allow you to commune with your deceased ancestors, who reveal the rapid rise of your civilization due to the powers granted by the cloth. As you and your cloth grow, you learn to use the cloth in new ways, such as building bridges and powering various devices, so that you can pass through both literal and metaphorical gates. However, it is revealed that once your ancestors realized the cloth was a finite resource, They fought devastating wars over it, which decimated their civilization and left dangerous mechanical beasts hunting their kin, a reminder of their sins. Entering the later stages of the game, you find that it is becoming more difficult to use the skills that you had at the beginning to progress up the mountain. A frigid wind constantly blows against you, sapping your power, and the shadows of the mechanical beasts loom more and more. Finally, a storm erupts, tearing the magical cloth from your body, and you succumb to the elements. Your journey has ended. You fall, cold and alone, unable to reach the precipice that you so desired, unable to atone for the sins of your forebears. Your ancestors gather around you in your final moments to bear witness to the end of your journey. But at that moment, you begin to rise into the air, regaining your cloth and filled with a boundless energy that you had never experienced before. You ascend, rising above your ancestors, higher, above the mechanical sentinels, higher still until you have risen above the storm. You find tranquility, beauty, and the sun. Landing at the pinnacle of the mountain, you step forward and are enveloped by the light. As the credits roll, a new star falls from the heavens, bringing us back to how it all began. All three of these games are absolutely wonderful, with unique aesthetics and beautiful music. They each can stand alone thematically, but also work in harmony to convey the ethereal awe of life and nature. And while they are not the most complex games, I find them to be a great way to unwind and push back against the chaos of modern life. But what do you think? Can games also be art? And what are some of your favorite indie titles? Let me know your thoughts down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.